Most of you have heard about the self-defense case of Kyle Rittenhouse. Without getting into too many details, Kyle shot 3 men, killing 2 and wounding 1, in what he claimed was self-defense. After a lengthy court trial, Kyle was acquitted of the murder charges, as the jury agreed that he did in fact act in self-defense. A similar self-defense claim happened back in 2006, where a man named John Wesley Dobbs was attacked by 3 men outside of a club in Orlando, Florida.
But like he was saying,
Can they get in?
there's a fight that took place in the parking lot, okay, and we already know all that, okay? And we're just here, we just want your side of the story of what happened. That's the only thing we want, you know. There's a couple of guys we know that's been stabbed, okay? So we just want your side of the story of what happened, all right? Because there's always 2 sides to every story. You know what I mean? And we just want you to tell us what exactly happened there.
So we're looking at you. You got blood all over you. We know you're involved in something. We don't know how it started. We got like one side of it. We got their side of what happened. Okay. We're here to get you.
Do they have surveillance cameras for the parking lot?
Yes, they do. Okay. But unfortunately for you, the surveillance cameras only cover the front half of the parking lot. The area where you were, no.
This is John Dobbs, and in 2006, he was living in Georgia with his girlfriend of 3 years named Deanna. John had 3 children that lived with their mother in Florida, and he would drive out to see them when work would allow it. He decided to take one of these trips with Deanna in October of 2006, and together, they spent several days with his 3 children. After the visit, the couple decided to visit the Dollhouse Club before returning to Georgia. The decision to stop at this club would change John's life forever.
So we got their stories, we got the people working there stories.
People working there saying,
Huh?
they should be able to tell you.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Okay, but I'm just laying this out for you. We got those stories. We got your girlfriend over here. We're gonna talk to her.
You got her now?
Yeah, she's here, and we get everybody's side of what happened. I mean, it's not that difficult.
Yeah, it's not difficult at all.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna tell you what.
Okay, first, before I let you do that, I have to read you your rights. Okay, because this is a crime. I don't know what started this. They are really pretty vague on what started this.
Of course.
Okay, so what we're here is to get the whole story. Okay, and with that in mind, do you want to tell us what happened?
What happens next depends on who you ask. According to John, he and Deanna left the club and went to their car around 2 in the morning. After Deanna got into the passenger side, John noticed 4 men walking to his car. Before he could react, they surrounded him and beat him to the ground. John did his best to defend himself, and that's when he heard cries from his girlfriend as she tried to help him fight off his attackers. At that moment, John decided he would have to protect Deanna, so he pulled out his pocket knife and began to swing it in the direction of the 4 men. He would wound 3 of the men and ultimately kill 1 of them.
And what transpired there?
No, he was just questioning me about chicks, because my girl calls me daddy, and we was playing around talking to the dancers there, and I was like, my girl calls me daddy. He was like, oh, you got hoes, and I was like, nah, why you think that because somebody called me daddy that I got hoes, and then he just gave me a bad vibe, but I was just like, leave him. So I went outside, and I guess they was plotting on me or something.
And when you say they, how many?
I mean, I seen them with at least 3, 4 of the guys.
Okay, and were they all outside the club when you got out, or were they?
Well, I was getting in my car, and they was getting in the car, a couple car measures away from me.
What kind of car?
What kind of car were they getting in? I don't know. I wasn't watching all that. I just heard them say something like, oh, you see, he got the security around him, and he grabbed his girl and he left. And he called me a player before, so I figured it was just going to be a conversation. So, I mean, basically, he said that, and I was like, kind of thrown off, like, they was kind of laughing, so I was like, maybe I said talk a little shit, So I didn't exactly get in the car. I walked to the back of my car, But one of the guys started walking toward me fast. Then I caught the vibe. Like, hold on, this guy looks like he wants to fight.
Is this the same one you were talking to in the
No,
time?
this is just a different one.
The police report would match John's description of what happened, except that there were only 3 men and John had become involved in a verbal altercation with one of the men prior to being attacked. Shortly after John began using the knife, the 3 men would retreat and he and Deanna would drive away, only to be arrested a short while later.
Okay, and as he approached you, what happened?
As he approached me, he looked like he was ready to fight. And that's when I said, hold up. I said, we're not going to fight.
Where are you at this time?
Standing at the trunk of my car.
So you were getting in your car and you came around to the trunk area?
Yeah, like, you know, but I didn't realize his friend was going to come over there.
So you were actually like in conversation or?
Well, you know, I heard what he said and I was getting ready to say, hey, yo, man, you know what I'm saying? There's plenty of girls that go around, whatever, you know, talk shit, whatever, you know. But then I seen this boy rushing towards me like, you know, like I said, man. So then the boy comes to me and I'm telling this boy, like, yo, there ain't gonna be no fighting or none of that shit, right? You know, my girl's already sitting in the car because I unlocked the door for her. And all of a sudden he hit me, boom. Like he came up to me and he just hit me, boom. And I'm like, where the hell is this coming from? You know, so I tried to back him up a little bit. And
Now, when this guy hit you, did he hit you in the face?
yeah, he hit me in the face kind of, but I kind of like moved a little bit. And it still hit me in the face though, you know. He still hit me in the face up. And
Okay, so your recollection is clear what happened?
up until the point where, I mean, the kid was banging me around like a rag doll. Understand?
This is the kind of stoutish one?
Huh?
This is the one that's stout, the first one?
Yeah, but all of them was bigger than me.
Okay.
I mean, you know,
So he hits you.
he hit me bad.
You trying to get space.
Well, you know, what it was like he hit me and it was automatically a fight. Like, you know, so I tried to like swing and back him off, and then I was thinking like, you know, I'm gonna have to hit this guy in his head. So I tried to hit him, and then you know, I seen the other guys coming, you know, and that's when I had a pocket knife. I pulled it out. You know what I'm
Where
saying?
was that?
Where was the pocket
In
knife?
your front pocket?
It was in my back pocket. I had originally told them that it wasn't mine, but it was.
Under Florida state law known as the Stand Your Ground Law, it states, a person who is not engaged in an unlawful activity and who is attacked has no duty to retreat and has the right to stand their ground and meet force with force, including deadly force if they believe it is necessary to do so to prevent death or great bodily harm. With this information, it would seem that John Dobbs did in fact act in self-defense. So why is he still in prison over a decade later?
Then after that, I couldn't remember nothing because the guy had me by my shirt, and one of the big guys had me by my shirt. Because one guy came up, I remember that, and I was like, I looked at him, he didn't move. So I said, this guy's not fighting. And I said it out loud. So then I just, you know, boom, turned around. And I remember, matter of fact, yeah, my girl got out of the car because they was jumping on me. And she tried to push them off of me, like, yo, get off of him, you know. And
Did you see any of the workers or the bouncers or anything out
I
there?
couldn't see nobody. Actually, I couldn't see nobody. I was blacked out. I mean, during the whole process, I was trying to grab, I was getting hit so many times, I was trying to grab focus, but I was still swinging with the knife.
Okay.
And that was it. That's all I could remember. That's all I could remember except for, that, you know, I don't remember much, you know. All I remember is that I couldn't really see nothing, and they laid off of me for a second. And there was a point where,
Were you
I was grabbing at some of their stuff, trying to grab, you know, like, you know, because I know they had the knife. They had a knife trying to cut me. You know what I'm saying?
You know which one had the knife?
I don't know.
Did they ever cut you?
Yeah, they cut my arm.
The left arm?
Yeah, the left arm, they cut it.
It seems that the main argument in this case was that John had the opportunity to avoid danger, and because he chose to fight instead of run, then he is in fact guilty. But now, let's take a closer look. We do not know if John had the opportunity to leave the area before the fight, but we do know that the fight took place by the passenger side door of John's car. This shows us that the men approached John. Now, there isn't a law against speaking your mind to another person, as long as you do not touch them, so John would argue with the man that approached him. At some point, the argument became physical between John and the man, and according to witnesses, John had the upper hand in the fight, which would cause the other man's friends to join in the brawl. John would realize that he was outnumbered, plus his girlfriend was getting involved as well. This would cause him to pull out the knife and use it.
Hey, John, let me ask you. At the point where you pulled your knife out, okay, you thought these guys were really going to beat you half to death. Okay, at that point, do you recall when you pulled your knife out? You know, at the point you pulled your knife out, do you know if you stabbed someone then or you tried to cut someone then? Can you kind of explain that to me?
I know, first, I wanted to make sure that he seen it so he would have backed up. I know that much.
So,
and the kid kept trying to hit me.
Your knife like this, and like this, is that how you did? You just brought the knife up like this?
Yeah, and then I tried to, like, you know, I wanted to hit him, but he was hitting me on this side. As a matter of fact, I remember the beginning. He was hitting me on this side, so I was blocking with my left, and I wanted to hit him with my right. Okay. And it came to the point where I was trying to hit him, like, I had the knife in my hand, but I was trying to hit him with my hand, actually. Okay. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, I wanted him to back up, but he just wouldn't back up. So I guess I might have said, fuck it, like, and tried to swing at him, like, cut him. You know what I'm saying?
So that way, when you went to swing at him, you were actually going to hit him, but the knife cut him? Is that what you're saying?
Well, actually, I was trying to, like, you know, punch him, hit him type thing. Yeah. It wasn't, like, you know, I knew I was going to get a good hit because my way my hand was positioned. Uh-huh. It was just like more, I just wanted him. I didn't think the whole thing was going to be that serious. It just jumped off crazy for me.
John claims that the three men threatened him as he left the club, telling him that he would need security to escort him to his vehicle. This is where criminal threatening and assault come into play. A criminal threat is a threat that must be capable of making the person who hears it feel as if they might be hurt, and the threat has to be credible and real. In some states, an assault can take place without a person ever touching their victim. Words alone do not constitute an assault, but if the person uses threatening words and gestures while approaching their victim, that could be considered assault. For example, if you told someone you're going to punch them and you are capable of doing that, then that could be considered a criminal threat. But if you were to say that as you approach that person in a threatening manner, that could then be considered assault. If John's attackers were approaching him in a threatening manner using verbal threats, that would mean he was being assaulted first, and the stand your ground law we discussed earlier would come into play.
Man.
Okay, look, you know, let me explain to you, because these guys have been stabbed in the chest, like a puncture wound in the chest, like when he was stabbed like that instead of cut. Okay? I mean, he's not dead or anything, but what I'm saying is he stabbed. Well, to tell you the truth, all three of them were stabbed in the chest. Okay? And what those guys are saying is that you stabbed them, okay? And it's obvious that you did stab them.
I'm by my car. I'm standing by my car. They come from all the way over there. I'm getting hit. I don't know what I never stabbed nobody before. You understand? I just was swinging the knife. You understand?
Okay, let me ask you this. How many...
I didn't even know if I hit them right. Okay. I thought maybe I was missing.
Sure, I understand. John, but, you know, if you had to say, how many times do you think you stabbed those guys?
Oh my God, please, man. I don't know what the hell was going on, man. Okay. I don't know. I was barely able to stand. Okay. The only reason I was really probably standing because the guy was holding my shirt.
Okay, I've been in some fights before, okay, and I know when the fight's going on, you got all this.
I don't want to talk about it.
You're excited.
I said, I don't want to talk about it no more. I told you everything, man. I'm not gonna put myself in that position. No more than it's already there.
Well, that's up to you. I mean, you can explain to us if you want to, or I mean, but I'm here just trying to help you, man. That's all I'm trying to do.
The detectives know that one of the attackers John stabbed is dead, but because they are allowed to lie, they tell him that nobody has died because of this incident. John realizes that something isn't right, as he believes that this should be a simple case of self-defense. So he tells the detectives he is done speaking. They want to keep John talking, so they tell him another lie by saying that they are on his side and they want to help him.
So you went to sign in your car, and then these guys started talking some shit to you?
Well, they came up to me. You understand? They came up to me. I didn't come up to them. Okay?
Okay.
What stopped you from getting in your car and leaving?
When?
When you were at your car and he started running his mouth, what stopped you from getting in your car and leaving?
I guess because I was bored. I was surprised the club was closing at 2 o'clock. And, you know, I figured, you know, we was just going to talk shit. You know, I figured I was going to introduce myself to more people. That's it. I figured I was going to be social. You know, I figured I was going to be like, you know, stand up dude. You know, they saying something smart. You know, I ain't figured we was going to get real serious. I mean, we grown men. What the hell we going to do something like that? We don't even know each other. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I ain't supposed to be here. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't supposed to be in handcuffs right now. If anything, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, the only thing is that I didn't call you guys. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing.
All right, let's go see what's her strategy. Okay.
If I'd have called you guys, probably would I be in handcuffs if I called you guys?
Hard to say. You had a weapon, they didn't. That's what we didn't find a weapon.
They didn't have no weapon? Then how the hell did they cut me?
Yeah, we gotta look at that.
John did have a deep cut on his arm, but the only knife that was found was the one that he had been carrying. The detectives also asked John why he did not call the police after leaving the scene, and John tells them that it was because he had a gun in his possession and he did not know what he should do with it. They believe that if John truly felt that he was justified in using the knife as self-defense, then why did he not call the police to let them know what happened and turn himself in?
Hey, John, you got a cell phone in your car?
Yeah, I got 2 cell phones somewhere, probably in my property that y'all got.
So, can you tell me why you didn't call the sheriff's office when all this happened?
Man, I was just like, let me get the hell out of here, man. Then I was driving real slow, just stuck and thinking. You know, and then like I said, I was mostly thinking about that gun. I was like, you know, what I'm gonna do with this, you know what I'm saying? And then I was like,
so you were thinking of, you know, as far as the gun, you were thinking of what you could do with the gun instead of calling the sheriff's office?
I was thinking about what am I gonna do with it, if I'm gonna keep it, throw it away, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I was like, man, let me just go, and I was thinking about my blood that was dripping down my face. I had a lot of blood dripping down my face at the moment, and I was asking my girl if I need stitches and stuff like that, and she was like, yo, you might need stitches, let's go to the hospital, then you call the police. And I was like, you know, I said, let me go to the hotel and look in the mirror first.
See, that's the only thing though, see, because if you had a cell phone with you, I was wondering why you didn't go ahead and call the sheriff's office. I mean, if I had just been in a fight, I mean, as a practical person, and you appear to me to be a practical, you know, I mean.
Yeah, I'm a practical person, but I'm not gonna lie, I've never called the police.
Sure, I understand that, but you know, you have to talk about, I mean, I can understand if you were just in a fist fight, but you know, there are some guys that's been stabbed.
Yeah, but I didn't even realize I was poking them. I didn't even realize that I was actually getting to them.
Okay.
You understand? As a matter of fact, I realized it at the last second.
The detectives listen as John explains that he had no reason to believe that anyone wanted to fight him and that the 3 men approached him as he was getting into his car. John can't understand why he is at fault, so the detectives tell him that based on all of the information they have from eyewitnesses, he had plenty of opportunity to leave the scene. John cannot believe what he is hearing, so he does his best to explain why he had to defend himself.
Do you understand? We had no words of conflict. I did not know I had a problem. Why would I leave? You understand? And then I didn't go towards them. I was at my car. You understand? I don't have the right to stand by my car. I mean, this is going to ruin my life. It's going to ruin my girl's life and everything. And I know that you guys got to know that basically there's no way that I initiated anything.
You're in a parking lot, you guys get involved in the fight, you bring out a knife.
Hold up. I'm in a parking lot, I'm standing by my car, 3 guys start running at me. One of them starts walking to me fast, he swings on me, then the other one starts running at me. I thought it was more than 3, I thought it was 4 or 5 guys.
Yeah, but based on all the facts of the case.
What facts?
The facts. The people that were there, that's the valet and everything.
Yeah, did they say?
Based on what you told me and based on what they told me, there was opportunity enough for you to leave. You said you weren't down,
Hold on. I told you they was holding me. I told you they was holding me, and that's probably the reason why I was standing.
Swinging too.
No, I was swinging with one hand. With one hand. I wasn't free swinging. I couldn't walk anywhere. I couldn't even see where the hell I was going. Half the time I'm bouncing off of my car. I was not in any position to leave at any moment before then, or else I would have ran.
The detectives decide it's time to let John know that one of the 3 men is now dead. Instead of showing sympathy for the man that is dead, John continues to talk about the situation he is in. John should have stopped talking, or at the very least, shown some emotions at the fact that someone had died at his hand. As all true crime fans know, everything you say or do will be used against you, and John's reaction to hearing this new information will most certainly be used against him.
Well, I need to tell you, one of them died. The one in Critical died.
Are you playing with me?
No, I'm serious.
The hell out of here, man. Listen, man. Yo, listen, man. I had no point that I could leave, man. I had no point that I could leave, man. The moment that I had a chance to leave, I left. You know. Listen, man. I'm gonna lose everything I got. I'm gonna come out with nothing, and I don't really have anything right now. You understand? I got a couple of things that's supposed to be coming on TV for me rapping. That's it. I don't have any money from it, anything. My kids, I just made them promises and stuff that I was gonna bring for. I mean, listen. This was, I don't know how long the fight went. It must have been about 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes. You understand? But I was getting, it was crazy at that moment. And I had no way to leave, man. I had no way to leave. And the only time that I could have left was before I decided to conversate with them. But I didn't go over there thinking I was going to fight those 3 big ass dudes.
John would be found guilty of murder and sent to prison. To this day, he and his family continue to claim false imprisonment and that he did in fact act in self-defense. Some say it was because of racial and social profiling. Others say that he is in fact guilty because he chose not to leave when he had the chance. In my videos, I try to stay neutral and let my viewers decide what to think based on the information they are shown. John has a YouTube channel where he shares his story from behind prison walls, and I will leave the link to his channel in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts on this case. Was John justified in his actions, or is he guilty of murder?
Come on, man. You gotta, if you are the one who's going to say, yo, whether or not this case is aggravated battery, I mean, whatever, you know. I mean, if you're the one, you gotta know that, man. Just listening to what they say, I know that the violate people didn't say that I had a chance to leave during the fight. During the conflict, once it started, I know they didn't say I had a chance to leave. Because they was, first of all, the only chance that I might have been able to run was the time when my girl was pushing one of them off of me, and I was trying to get them not to hit her. That was the only chance that I had an opportunity where I was free with both hands.